Hey guys, it's Miss Arlequin, and in this video we are going to be learning our new vocabulary words from chapters 4 through 6 of Lord of the Flies. Alright, so let's start with our rating of the words. Our first word is jeer. Second word is malevolent. Third is inarticulate. Fourth is ineffectual. Fifth word is clamor. And the sixth word is lament. All right, so for our first word, jeer, it is a noun, and it's basically describing the act of scoffing, taunting, or mocking. So if you use it as a verb and you say you're jeering somebody, you are mocking them, you're taunting them, making fun of them. So it's really kind of like an anti-cheer. So usually you would apply it to things like sporting events where instead of cheering for the other side, you might be jeering them, right? So a lot of trash talking can be considered to fall under the category of jeering. So as a verb, jeer means to laugh at in a mean way. Even if you did forget the words of the national anthem, it probably wasn't polite for the crowd to jeer at you. But again, don't feel that bad. The last singer remembered all the words and they jeered her anyway. It was probably a really tough crowd. So again, jeer is to shout insulting words at someone, to laugh at or criticize someone in a loud and angry way. Before the assembly, the principal told the student body that anyone who chose to jeer the speaker would be suspended for 3 days. All right, our next word is malevolent. If someone is malevolent, then they're basically wishing evil on others. If you find yourself approaching someone with a malevolent look in her eye, it's probably best if you run the other way. So malevolent actually comes from the Latin word malevolence, which means ill-disposed or spiteful. And it can really be seen as the opposite of benevolent, which means wishing good things for others. A malevolent person might display satisfaction at someone else's problem, so they get happy when people are having a bad time. But it's not only individuals who can be malevolent. If you think that TV violence influences viewers to become violent themselves, then you could see television as a malevolent force. All right, so malevolent is when you have or show a desire to cause harm to another person. You can describe the person as malevolent, their actions as malevolent, the look in somebody's eye or the look on somebody's face as malevolent. With a malevolent look on the man's face, Leah knew that she was in danger. All right, our next word is inarticulate. We use the adjective inarticulate to describe poor communication skills. So if somebody's nervously fumbling to find the right word, or they completely forget what they're trying to say, you could describe them as inarticulate. People, when they mumble, are described as inarticulate. You don't understand what they're trying to say. So inarticulate sounds could be a grunt, somebody crying, and you don't know what words they're trying to make because they're so busy crying, screaming, snorting, wailing, howling, moaning, sobbing, snickering. Those are sounds that can be heard, but you're not necessarily going to easily understand what the person is trying to say or communicate. If something is inarticulate, it's really hard to get the meaning of it. So an inarticulate speech is one where you're not really sure what the main idea is. So again, inarticulate is an adjective. You're going to use it to describe the way somebody's speaking. And it just means you're not able to express ideas clearly or to be easily understood. Sadly, a number of high school students are inarticulate when they graduate and cannot properly word a sentence. All right, our next word is ineffectual. So if you are a coach with a losing team that doesn't listen to you, you might be described as being ineffectual, because ineffectual basically means that you are too weak to produce a desired effect. If you are ineffectual, you are a failure, right? So look at the word effect. If you have a good effect, a positive effect, you're doing something, you're achieving your goal. If you are ineffectual, you are not achieving your goal. So ineffectual as a word is pretty similar to ineffective, But ineffective implies that something simply doesn't work. Ineffectual has the connotation that there's a weakness to you. Something's not working because you are not able to carry it off. A broken baseball bat is ineffective. A baseball bat made out of felt would be ineffectual. It's weak. There's no chance it's going to work. Ineffectual, again, is not producing or able to produce the effect that you want. It appears the insecticide is ineffectual because ants are still in the kitchen. All right. To clamor is to make a demand loudly. It's usually a group that clamors, like Americans might clamor for comprehensive health care coverage. The noun clamor is often used specifically to describe a noisy outcry from a group of people, but more generally, the word can mean any kind of loud or harsh sound. You could describe the clamor of sirens in the night or the clamor of the approaching subway in the tunnel. The famous Christmas poem, The Night Before Christmas, mentions the clamor. Arose such a clamor. It's when the Santa and the reindeer are on the roof and they're making a lot of noise up there, so there's a clamor. So again, it's a loud, continuous noise, usually, like noise made when people are talking or shouting, or it could be a loud or strong demand for something by many people. So a lot of times when you're having protests, you might say that there was a clamor in the protest. Production companies release movie trailers so people will be intrigued and clamor to watch the entire film. So in this particular sentence, I'm using definition 2. A loud or strong demand for something by many people. All right, and our final word is lament. If you are really upset or sorry about something, you might lament it. A lament is full of regret and grief. So if you lament something, then you're feeling sorry about it. You could lament a mistake you made, or you could lament a horrible thing that happened to a friend. Now, lament happens to be a verb, but you can also use it as a noun and talk about somebody's lamentation. But as a verb, it means you're expressing sorrow, you're expressing regret, or you're expressing unhappiness about something. And usually that's going to be accompanied by some kind of crying or sadness. All I could do for months was lament and cry for not saying farewell to Grandma. All right, so now it's time to write our own sentences. Remember that we are now writing 2 sentences per vocabulary word. That is the minimum requirement. Of course, you want your sentences to have context clues, so as much as you can, try to use the 5 W's. And of course, you get bonus points whenever you have additional vocabulary words, any of our previous vocabulary words within your sentences as well.